How's it going? My name is Alex, and this is my channel, Garage to Home, where I'm working on converting this mechanic's garage into a single-family home. If you didn't check out last week's video, we let in a ton of light here, but it's the next day. I'm a little bit sore, and there's still a lot of things to do before we can start insulating this place. So we are expecting some rain tonight, so I do want to get all of these windows boarded up temporarily. I do have some plywood and Tapcon screws that I am going to screw the plywood on the exterior temporarily. We do have the screws in my pocket to finally install the door, and we'll put the handle on and everything. And then we want to get a head start with this fence, as well as clean up the space, make everything ready. So it's a lot, and I'm hoping I can knock this out in 2 days around there. And so we might as well just get right to it. All right, let's get the easy project out of the way first. I got all the screws. The smarter way to do it would have just been to take out the pins, but this is what I did, so let's screw everything back in. Let's see how we did. There we go. It's not perfect. There's a seal, so we're good. But as I mentioned in the previous video, there was only pine that was available for me, and it's not pressure treated. So I actually eventually want to redo this. So for the time being, though, this definitely passes the test, I guess. But even though I can lock this door, still have windows that are wide open that anybody could walk into. So we do need to cover those, but now I have my first set of keys for the house. I feel like that door looks pretty good. So you can see I put some plywood over here temporarily. I didn't actually have any anchors to be able to screw them in with the Tapcon, and they would easily be able to pull out. So I'm going to put these here temporarily just to stop maybe any critters, or, you know, it's not going to stop all the rain, but maybe a little bit. And then what I actually think I'm going to get is kind of like that opaque plastic, a hard plastic, and I'll tape it up there with this temporarily. And so that way we can let some light in, but also have that protection from the rain and anything like that. So instead of actually screwing all those in, we are going to get a head start on putting the concrete in the posts, and then tomorrow, if I can get some help potentially, we will be putting in the fence. So let's at least grab the concrete, and we'll start putting it next to each post there. So I got all the tools I needed. I did stop at my parents' house and get the post hole digger, and I do have the auger. So the main reason why I am using both of those tools is just to make the hole a little bit wider so more concrete can fit down there. So we are going to make sure these are plumb. I know some viewers said when I was saying that they were level that I used the wrong terminology, but we're going to slowly get these in here, make sure they're plumb, and go down the line at least this way and get all these in here. Okay, so we got it centered. Time to pour in some of the mix. I do have 80-pound bags, which is a little overkill, but I guess better strong than sorry. before I get the rest of that in, make sure we're plumb one more time. Good over here. Good over here. And I just want to straighten it out just a little bit. Okay, let me do that one more time. And before I do the rest of the concrete, let's just do one more measurement. Make sure 96 is in the center or close to it. And again, the reason why you want it to be in the center is because you want one of the fence posts to end right here, and then you screw in the next one right there. So we're good to go. Let's fill this up. All right, the good thing too is, just in case this wasn't enough water and it doesn't get all the way down there, it is supposed to rain tonight, so the leftover water that comes from rain should harden it up.
So as I finished the first one, I just continued to go right down the line, fill everything up with concrete, and then follow that up with water once everything was plumb, and everything was good to go. It was very helpful to have the post hole digger and auger with me, just to make sure that, again, I could get in as much concrete as possible. For some reason, as you can see here, my pouring job was not very good with the concrete in a few places, so I just needed to make sure everything got in as deep as possible. I did unfortunately run into a little bit of a mistake on my side, which you will see in a few clips.
This was a bit of a smaller... Okay, I'm very bad at pouring right now. Jeez. I was just double checking to measure to put in this last post right here, and I guess I must have measured wrong with these this last post here, because right where this leaf is right here is where the post should be. Instead, I guess I was off by almost a foot. The only thing that makes this difficult is with this storage container right here, and also all of these holes already dug, getting through those roots and everything. I think what I'm going to do is actually just put a post right here, keep this post there, and then because I have only a 5-foot section on the side of the building, I'm going to have to cut the fence that I have anyway, so I will have like a little section right here. The only thing is that it'll just have a second post really close. Do need to dig this hole here, but what I was just thinking while I was getting ready to cut this post is actually almost dead on line with the end of the container right there. So I was thinking actually this area that I have left over, I can make this a fire pit area, and this post I can keep a little bit higher, and I can attach string lights to the container. Get creative with what's presented to you, and I feel like that'll actually be a nice little touch. So let's dig this hole real quick.
luckily with these last two, I didn't need to measure the distance because I knew that I would have to cut a piece of fence. So I pretty much leveled them together and put concrete into both of them. And then finally, once I got a chance, I finished it up with some water and let them dry.
We have a little bit of cleanup to do, but everything is in and I'm happy with how it turned out. Maybe I can get a buddy to help me out putting this fence up tomorrow, but we do have to let this dry and we want to get this whole side done. So I will see you tomorrow morning. We're here for day 2. I think I am actually going to try to put up this fence by myself. I'm going to see how that goes. I got pretty sweaty yesterday. I feel like today is going to be twice as hard if I could actually make this work. So first order of business, what we need to do, I got longer posts on purpose just in case, going down. I didn't want to buy something and then it end up being short just by accident or something like that. So I need to cut these to size.
So this was a bigger undertaking than I expected it to be working by myself. The hardest thing was definitely getting it level by yourself and getting it exactly into the spot that you want, especially because once you got it into that spot, you needed to be ready and have it screwed in, which sometimes required you to kind of lift it up mid-screw. On this one right here, it did take me a little bit of finagling. But it was pretty easy because I knew this started right at the edge, so I didn't have to worry about being exactly in the center or anything like that. For this second one here, you can kind of see how tough it was to put into spot when you're by yourself doing it. But because the ground gradually gets lower as the farther away you get from the building, I decided to have the fence kind of step down, and you'll notice in a little bit every 2 lengths of fence. So once I figured that out, it made it pretty simple. So kind of what I would do is I would screw in the left side, then I would straighten it out, so you can see that's exactly what I'm doing right here. I would put a screw in right there, and then finally I'd go to the other side and then lift it up where I needed to, either put my foot in there or I eventually got some blocking, and then I would screw that in and then come back to the other side and then straighten that out. One of the issues that I unfortunately did run into is because if you're off by, a half inch or 3/4 of an inch, you end up eventually running out of fence post length. So what happened, as you can see here, is you don't see the middle of the post on the left side there. So I, again, tried to straighten everything out the best I could and then would screw in the left side. I then had to come back and cut some blocking, which you'll see in a few clips, and then use some lag bolts and screw those into the fence posts themselves. That way there was some room for me to actually screw in parts of the fence that were not able to connect to the actual post. If I explain that bad, you'll see a video in a few seconds about it. But it's not ideal. I don't love how it looks, but what I was thinking about doing is then getting a board to cover both of them and have it look pretty flush, and then I could hang plants on it or maybe do more of the string lights, anything like that. So I continued to go all the way to the end. There was, I believe, 3 or 4 posts that did need that blocking. So you can see here, this is where I kind of put some shims underneath and was able to lift it up. And then finally, I have electricity now, so I was able to use my saw to cut these little pieces. I did 1-foot blocks, and then I had to stop at the hardware store and pick up 6-inch lag bolts. So all of the posts are 3.5 inches wide, so I wanted to make sure that there was plenty of connection between the two. So I have a terrible clip here. I didn't have the correct angle filming, but this is what I did. I just I connected it directly to the post, and like I mentioned too, I will again get a board that should cover all of this. So even though I do have a lot of friends that watch the channel, if a stranger comes by and checks it out, they shouldn't even be able to notice that I made the mistake. But again, mostly everybody that is going to come over will know what I did. So after I screwed those in or bolted them in, I just went on the other side and then connected them to that piece that I put in. And it ended up being a really strong connection. And although it's not ideal, I was pretty happy with how strong those pieces ended up being for the fence. So I had those done, and then finally, the last piece by the building, I needed to cut the fence to fit. So I measured it out. I thought it was a 5-foot length, but it was actually 7 feet, so I just needed to take an additional foot off. And then my plan, after I was able to get the fence or the cut off, I then decided to take each individual rung of the fence off because the building is a lot higher than where the post actually is. So I made sure to go through each one, and then I'm kind of making my own fence on an angle, and it actually ended up, turning out pretty good, and I'm happy with what happened. So it took a little bit to get all of these off. And then after I connected everything on, I did have a few people stop by and say hello, which you'll see in a few clips.
So if you live local, potentially you drove by the garage, and I got this just to show everything off. So potentially you're if you're not familiar with it, you might see that and look that up on YouTube. My biggest fan came by, and dropped off some mums to, I guess, freshen things up for the fall season and everything. So I don't know if she wants to say anything, but
Yeah, his mom dropped off some mums. So I'm going to plant them. I didn't bring my soil or my gloves because we're going out to lunch, but I thought I'd plant a little silk on a cloudy day. Hold on, let me plant them.
tell him to subscribe.
Oh, and subscribe! Subscribe to my son. He's doing such an awesome job. I'm so proud of him. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that was a long day, but we did get this whole side of the fence done. I still need to take the nails off of each one of these and then just nail them right back into place. So I'll do that off camera whenever I get a chance. But you can kind of get the angle that it's going to look pretty cool. That it'd be a nice even angle straight down and then go out. I appreciate, both my parents were here, but my mom got on camera. So I appreciate her bringing the mums, and it was always good to see them and everything. So we're going to end the video here. Next week, we are going to, I believe, start insulation. So pretty exciting. Definitely get subscribed like my mom asked you to do. And we're going to start really building things out. And we're very close to just having, my dog Henry hang out with us while we're working on everything. So again, I appreciate you checking everything out. Please leave a like, leave a comment. I do read them all and try to reply when I can. And of course, I will see you in the next one. Bye.